welcome back to another episode of In Between the Lines. Man, oh man, what a game one of the NBA Finals. And if you are the Boston Celtics, you are definitely living on cloud nine right now. Um, what a beatdown. For me, coming into the series, I was very intrigued as far as like the matchups and, different who would guard who basically, and to see Drew Holiday guard Kyrie, Brown on Luca, Kyrie, and then on the other hand, Kyrie and Luca guarding White and or Drew Holiday. Them being obviously probably the people who are going to get the least shots out of that starting five, so it made sense for them to start off guarding them two, and then seeing Jones Jr. on Tatum and Washington on Brown. Um, to start off this series, I think it was kind of predictable that Drew would be starting off guarding Kyrie, especially him being a shorter guard and him being one of the best, perimeter defenders of the league, if not the best, perimeter defender in the league. And I kind of expected either Brown or Tatum to guard Luca, and seeing that Brown took that initiative and that responsibility to guard Luca, I thought that was pretty cool to see, to show that he is a elite two-way player, especially showing it on the biggest stage of his career in the NBA Finals. I thought he did a great job defensively and offensively. Today's game, he got a lot of breakaway steals that he was able to convert into massive dunks, and I thought he showed great energy and showed his elite two-way ability. Jones Jr. on Tatum, I thought Tatum could have definitely exposed that matchup there, but him showing leadership and not taking the ball out of Kristaps Porzingis' hands and Brown's hands, especially with them being hot. I thought that definitely showed maturity. I know early on in his career he was focused on just getting buckets and getting and showing that he's able to score, but this time around showing that he's just trying to play with the flow of the game, and I thought he just showed a lot of growth with today's game. And then Washington Jr. on Brown, I thought that was a decent matchup. I know early on, he Washington got into early foul trouble, so he definitely needs to watch the film and see how he can clean that up going forward. But I'm gonna just kind of give you my thoughts quarter by quarter here, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so for the first quarter, I thought the Celtics showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of hustle. It's got a lot of rebounds. They got a lot of offensive rebounds, a lot of defensive rebounds, and with the team like the Boston Celtics, you don't want to give up those second chance opportunities, especially with all five of their starting five being able to at any given night give you 30 points. So um, you know second chance points are definitely lethal, and you need to show a lot more energy coming into the game. And Kristaps Porzingis to me was the X factor of this game. Him coming back off of injury and coming off the bench, I was intrigued to see how he would perform. Again with the injury and him being the first time in the NBA Finals, but there was no signs of rust, no signs of him slowing down at all. He was great offensively and defensively. He had a lot of great blocks. One in particular that I could remember was, him getting a chase down block on Josh Green. Seeing being that Josh Green is an athletic player, and he can definitely yam it. I thought he had a for sure breakaway dunk, but Kristaps Porzingis definitely showed a lot of hustle and ended up getting back in time to get the chase down block. So that was amazing to see. And in the first quarter, I believe Kristaps Porzingis ended with like 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks total in like 7 minutes. So he went crazy. He definitely popped off. Kind of reminded me of my boy Wimby over here. Um, no, I'm just kidding, but he was definitely terrific, and yeah, I mean, big time plays for Kristaps. A lot of energy, especially in the first quarter. And to start the second quarter, I thought that Kyrie, he tried to will his team back into contention, but overall with him doing that, I think he was just taking a lot of forced shots. I think he wasn't getting to his spots as much, and he was just taking a lot of contested shots. And I think he just kind of hurt that team a little bit that way. He ended up being like, I remember 3 for 9 at one point, and I think it was just a little too much one-on-one ball for my liking. I thought that they should have probably tried to move the ball a little bit more. Um, And another thing that I noticed, there's the block that I was talking about. But another thing that I noticed was that the Celtics, they tried to attack Luka on the pick and roll a lot, and they try to put him in a lot of action, being that he's probably not the best defensively. But I thought Luka did a pretty decent job at holding his own, being and it's something that he's used to, playing against the Clippers and OKC Thunder and the Wolves. By now he's used to it, and again, I thought he did a pretty good job at holding his own and not being taken advantage of. Um, and Kristaps Porzingis, man, he just continued, where he left off in the first quarter. Continued to be on a hot streak and making a lot of his shots. He was making hella contested shots too. It's not like they were open. And if you're the Mavericks, I think, especially if you're like Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford, you need to do a better job at making him uncomfortable. Because Kristaps Porzingis, he's not a short guy, and the reason why he's able to take those contested shots because a lot of the times, he had a lot of mismatches where he was able to shoot over the smaller guards. And again, if you're the centers for the Mavericks, you need to make his life a lot more difficult. Be physical with him. He's not a big guy, so you can definitely push him around, make him uncomfortable as much as you can. Um, put a hand up in the air. Maybe they need to do a better job at getting through the screen and not switching off of Porzingis because again they're really the look at that. I mean, Luca's right there, but him being just a little shorter than not a little, but he's a pretty big difference in height. But you get what I mean. Him being shorter than Porzingis, you just need if you're the centers, you need to do a better job at contesting him and not letting him go off like that, getting into a rhythm. Just make his life difficult. Um, and to end the second quarter, Porzingis had 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and he shot 7 for 9. And a player that's coming back from injury, missed 10 to 11 games. He shouldn't be getting those looks like that. He shouldn't be a player that that's carrying the Celtics. So he's definitely the X factor to coming into this series, and hopefully the Mavericks can do a better job at trying to contain him. So it'll definitely be interesting on what type of adjustments they'll do for the next game come Sunday. Um, but another thing that I felt that killed the Mavericks was their 3 point shooting. They were 3 for 13, and Celtics were 11 for 27 from three. And basketball at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, and usually the team that makes the most threes is usually the one who ends up winning. Now, granted, Luca did get a lot of his teammates open. Right there, like Tim Hardaway Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Washington. Maybe the lights were too bright for them, and maybe nerves got to them, being that this is their first time in the NBA Finals, except for Derek Jones. But for the others, um, I think they just need to stay cool, calm, and collective, and just remember, that remember what got you there. Especially playing in the Western Conference Finals. Just think of it as the same game. That's the kind of mindset that I think they need to have, and just shoot with confidence, and just if you miss one, don't let that affect your next shot. So hopefully they come into the next game shooting with more confidence and end up making a lot more open shots, because then that'll just open up the floor for Kyrie and Luca to do that much better. And to end the half, I believe it was like 42-63. So Celtics already had a 21-point lead. So they already kind of dug themselves into a deep hole, and by that time it would be a difficult comeback for them. To start the third quarter, I did feel that the Celtics did a good job at trying to come back. I know that they tried different coverages as far as defensively. They tried to run zone for a little bit, but with a team like the Celtics, it's not something that'll work too often, especially with every one of their starting five being able to shoot the three and being lethal from the offensive end. Again, any one of them can give you a 30-point game. So they quickly learned that a zone defense wasn't going to work with this team. But Luca, Kyrie, I thought they did a really good job at willing their team back into it for a little bit. They got it down to about I want to say 8 to 9 point deficit, and they gave their team hope basically. But eventually, the Celtics, they woke up, they stopped being lackadaisical, and I thought Brown was the one who kind of led their comeback and got their lead back to a 20-point lead. I thought he did a great job at being aggressive, and he did a great job at getting into the line. He put pressure, at the rim, and put a lot of pressure on the refs to make pretty hard calls to make, especially in the finals. I thought he did get away with some questionable calls at just attacking Derek Lively's chest and getting him in foul trouble. But overall, I think he did what he was supposed to do. He got the Mavericks out of rhythm, getting to the foul line. He stopped the momentum, and yeah, he just basically led the Celtics back to getting their lead back up to a 20-point lead. He had a lot of big time steals, breakaway steals that led to a lot of transition dunks. He had a lot of big time threes that I saw. So it was a great performance from Jaylen Brown, and I thought overall that he was probably the best player in this game. And then once once the game got to the fourth quarter, I felt that it was already too little, too late for the Dallas Mavericks to make a comeback. And I noticed about like around the 5 minute mark with 5 minutes left in the game, Jason Kidd just kind of waved the white flag and took out his star players. He took out Luka, Kyrie, and he even took out Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. At that point, I felt that they just wanted to rest up and get them ready for game two, and hopefully again they just make adjustments. Man, they show a lot more energy to start the game, and stop being lackadaisical. Don't take this for granted. And it's the NBA Finals. You want to give it your all, be the first one to the floor, show a lot of hustle, show a lot of heart. And just play your game. I felt that, especially in the first half, I don't even think the Mavericks got a lot of lob dunks. I think they only got one lob dunk, if I'm not mistaken. And, that's basically the Mavericks game. Look at how they beat the OKC. Look at how they beat the Timberwolves. They, put them they put the other team in a lot of pick and roll action, and they didn't really play their game this time around. And, what's evident of that is, that was the Celtics game plan. At the end interview, Jason Tatum was saying that their game plan was to basically try to limit, Luka and Kyrie as much as possible, but they're gonna get theirs at the end of the day. But their main goal was to try to prevent the others from scoring, right? And when you look at the score sheet, who I believe, PJ Washington was their second leading scorer with 14 points. Kyrie Irving only had 12 points. Everyone else was under double digits. So they did a good job at limiting the others and, just staying put. Basically, for the most part, they played man. They didn't really double Luka and Kyrie too much. And again, they just, they stuck to their game plan, which ended up working. So again, if you're the Mavericks, you just need to play your game, try to get, maybe Kristaps Porzingis and foul trouble, get him out the game as much as possible, because he was, again, he was the biggest X factor, and I think he was the one who opened up the floodgates for the Celtics. But yeah, man, overall, again, I thought the star players were Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. Both showed tremendous two-way ability and were elite on both ends of the floor. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe if you are new. Again, I'm going to try my best to make 2 to 3 videos a week. And yeah, any support that I can get, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.